odd thing just happened in the Ross. This younger guy from Dubai, that's where it said he was from, well dressed, a lot of gold. He's like, hey, my friend, just starts talking to me, and I'm like, whatever, shopping for my candles and shit. And he's like, you see this chain? And I'm like, yeah. And he's showing me the bracelet on his hand, and he's telling me what it is. I'm like, oh, cool. He's like, it's yours. And I'm like, no. He's like, why? It's for free. I'm giving it to you, my friend. I'm like, no, that's okay. At any other point probably in my life, or in probably any other city, I would have been like, oh, cool, thanks, man. And I would have, sold it or something, get some money. But here, there's a weird, there's more psychos here per square mile than anywhere else I've ever seen. And you just don't take anything from anybody here. You don't take anything from anybody here, ever. Because you might think, oh, this person seems normal, right? Just being nice, right? And then that motherfucker will be camped outside your house, demanding something from you. Your time. People will only give things for extortion purposes. It's the kind of place you invite people over to your house and they leave stuff. They'll leave a bag. I've seen this so many times. And then they'll say, oh, I left my bag at your house. And then, oh, yeah? This didn't happen to me, but, hey, something's missing from my bag. And then it's your fault. Or, people outside, can you watch my bag? And they'll come back, oh, something missing from my bag. It's just all fucking scammers and fucking crazy people. And crazy people, mentally ill, I feel that's more of it's not mental illness, it's spiritual illness. It's funny too, because when I first started learning a lot about mental health and stuff, when I became involved in the industry, because it is an industry, I was reading a lot of books about how mentally ill people were treated in the past, and the rich families that would have someone that was a little off, and they would just pay to put them away, Kennedy style. And I was just noticing how there's a lot of spiritual talk from people that are supposedly crazy. Always talk of demons and the devils and Jesus and all this other stuff. And I think, wow, back in those days, it's funny. People thought, oh, yeah, mental problem. It was just the devil, and I'd just laugh at how dumb they were. Now it's like, yeah, it is. It's the fucking devil. Yeah, it is. It is the devil. But, there's a lot of demonic activity here. This is it's a front line. And I think that's kind of why I ended up here. I talked about it a lot throughout my videos, all the stuff that goes on here, demonic activity, portals in Chinatown, and all this other crazy shit. And I do think it's a spiritual thing, mental illness. They turned it into an industry to keep people in check, to keep people from spurging about what they're experiencing. And I don't really want to go into that. I've done that enough for now. But it was really weird. So I was like, no, I can't, man. I'm sorry. It's even despite the fact that, he was from Dubai, but the psychotic fucking demonic weirdness that exists here can seep into everybody. It gets into tourists. I see it. It's here. It's here. It's in this area, and I think it has a lot to do with Lemuria being, in my opinion, from what I understand, what I observed, Lemuria being under us. at the bottom of the ocean. This land may in fact have been a part of Lemuria that didn't go under. And I think that's where a lot of the evil shit emanates from, you know, the spells and things like that. They're still running. There's still machines going. There's still spells being cast. It's just going on underneath the ocean. You know what I mean? Underneath where, you know, I am right now, in my opinion. And, you know, I could be wrong. They recently found a street, like looked like a brick street, a large one, underwater near here. I did a little video about it and I put the a screenshot from the article up, but yeah. So needless to say, I didn't take the gold thing, because, like I was about to say, even though you know, all the demonic shit aside, it just feels weird taking. I mean, it's obviously valuable. I don't know how much, but it just seems weird. Like, there's something weird about that I don't like. You know, if you want to donate it, give it to. You know, he probably in his mind, he's like, I'm going to go into the store. Maybe, I don't know what his thing was. He's like, I'm just going to give one of these poor people shopping at the Ross, because like everyone, a lot of those guys, everyone's poor. And there's a lot of guys like that, Arab guys here, young Arab guys. I don't mind them. They don't cause trouble. I've never had a problem with any of those guys. I know a lot of people, you know, like to give them shit about being young and rich and not having to answer to anyone because of their family connection. I don't give a fuck. They don't bother me. I've never had bad interaction with young Arab dudes. Not ever. I mean, you know, I've had bad interactions with everyone else, almost, but not them. So yeah, I don't know if that was. It was just kind of weird. It felt weird. But I got I want to just mention this thing about DID. I don't talk about it all that much, but when something pops up in life that is meets the criteria of subject matter for it. How's my fucking words going today? I do that a lot anyway, but a little bit slow today. Could be the LLC. Turned it on a couple days ago, and you know, the articulation machine has come to a stumbling, bumbling halt. But the I had lost the bank card, got a new one, and when it came in, I gave it to my wife. I said, "Don't let me see the numbers of this," because what happens is I buy a lot of stuff online, not just you know, microtransactions for video games and stuff. I'll buy things for photo editing, video editing. I subscribe to a couple different YouTube creators a month. I usually move it around. Like, I'll get 2 guys one month, move it to 2 other creators. I try to find small ones, but a lot of small ones aren't monetized. But so I just do whatever. You know, I pick a couple guys, and I do a lot of other things like that. Buy different service things and the occasional Amazon thing. But the problem is, like in the case of like the video game stuff, right? Like I don't ever go crazy. Like, I'll never drop on a $50 pack. Well, I have before, but like nothing like $100 package or nothing like that on video games. But I'll see something, I'll be like, oh, $5, yeah, I'll get that. Not remembering or realizing that I've done that 9 times before that within the past couple weeks. Because the way it works is when you're experiencing another mood, or when another aspect of yourself is driving the car, it is an amnesic kind of situation going on. Maybe the same juice, the birth juice, which is also the dream juice, whatever that shit is that makes you forget. And yeah, my wife would be like, because she sees the Google stuff come in, you know, and she's like, wow, you spent like a few $100 this week on video games. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And she'll show me the thing. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I did. I remember doing that. It used to happen with physical items. I'm a collector of man-child bullshit. But in my neighborhood, there's not a lot of opportunities to buy that stuff, especially with GameStop going under recently. Hey, little kitty. And, but back when I used to collect a lot, I still do if I can get my hands on stuff, but I would find things in my house that I have no knowledge of procuring. I'd be like, wow, what's this? I have this one? Which causes a problem when you're a collector, because I can't tell you how many times I bought the same thing. You know, thinking, oh, I need this one. You know, and then get home and I have it. It's just like the same thing as, like, you know, I was talking about this last time when I talked about the ideas about watching things on YouTube. It's like, oh, wow, this looks cool. I want to watch this. I go to comment on it and I'm like, oh, I've already watched this before and commented on it. And I had a conversation with this guy about it. You know, that's just, it's after the fact stuff. That's just how it works. Or that's how it works for me, you know. So in that way, I'd be spending a bunch of money not remembering I was doing it, you know, because it would happen, you know, when I wasn't driving the vehicle. It's really weird. It's another shitty symptom of that stuff. It's not fun. It's not as fun as teenage girls make it look on fucking TikTok. Although I do kind of question their legitimacy. It's a very rare disorder. It took 8, 10, almost 5 years till they diagnosed me with it. After kind of bouncing around thinking about it and being in therapy, it was brought up as a possibility initially. You see a lot of different doctors when you're in the system. And it's impossible to build up some kind of trust or understanding with a clinician, because you'll shuffle off to another one just as soon as you get used to one person. The way it works is it's usually, I mean, in my experience anyway, you had the one you talk to and the one that writes the drugs. The one I have now is like both. But you can't really talk to him because he's very old, very deaf. Nice guy. But, yeah. But I don't need the kind of therapy that I used to need. Back when I thought it was a completely legitimate endeavor. I didn't know it was I wasn't aware that it was an industry. A for-profit for industry. It's not a medical field. It's not a field of study even, because there's nothing to study. You know, the only way they can get pertinent information about a diagnosis is by patient feedback and observation. And that's it. I mean, they can't hook you up to a machine, and they can to see if the brain's been damaged. I've had a lot of those because I've gotten many concussions throughout my life, which starting as an infant, literally dropped on my head as a baby, like for real. And yeah, and I just got one after the other from them. Every time I see a doctor about it, like what the latest accident is, it's always like, you gotta be careful with your head because you fall the wrong way. It's like, dude, that was 10 fucking concussions ago. Anyway, yeah, DID sucks. I turned down gold from Abu Dhabi, and there's nothing to collect here. So I think that about covers it for now. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school. Bye-bye.